Welcome back. The future of gas industry in Egypt, 2019-2020, and the most remarkable achievement in that particular industry. What were the further steps that we are taking towards sustainable development? What is taking place in the sense of progressing with this process towards a better future and an economic boom? All this and more, we're very delighted to be having with us Dr. Tharwat Raghib. He is the head of petroleum engineering and gas in the Egyptian Chinese University. Good morning, Dr. Raghib.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, doctor. And first of all, talking about the remarkable achievements in the oil industry, moving on from the state of deficit to the state of surplus. Well, definitely it was a very important journey and a very well-planned journey as well. If I'm talking about the achievements for the year 2019, how do you see this?
Actually, the Ministry of Petroleum has did a very good job actually in this branch. So if you can see, actually, you are hitting nowadays 7.2 PCF. You remember it was in the past, the gas production, it was very low before the revolutions. But nowadays, actually, we are actually getting the highest number in the history of Egypt regarding the gas productions. And even the oil as well. Oil is now actually are hitting 670,000 barrels per day oil. And this is not coming from nothing, just very intensive plan from the ministry in terms of actually increase the productivity of the oil, add new development wind, for example, like Badruddin company, is a government company. It has added 39 wells for productions. We have like more than 3 discovery for Ganoub. The production for Khalda actually now is 141,000 barrels per day. Agiba company also, it's reached 44 barrels per day. All this actually coming with very intensive plan from the ministry. So the aim actually to, as you know, actually nowadays we have self-sufficient from the gas productions. We stop actually importing, exporting the gas liquefied from outside, so which save a lot of money for us. But still we have a gap for the oil, actually 30% we are importing from outside. That's why the plan from the university to decrease this gap between the demand and supply. In this case, that's why we are increasing the productions, put new wells in place, make very good agreements. Nowadays, actually, we have 85 exploration agreements since 2010 up to now, which is very actually very good success actually for the Ministry of Petroleums. Grab more international companies. You know, actually nowadays we have ExxonMobil coming to Egypt. It never came before as a drilling operators. Shell actually start drilling, it have 5 concessions and started drilling already. It was stopped the drilling in Egypt since 5 years ago. Now all this actually achievement to be good actually for the ministry, and from the intensive plan has been already put in the place to reach to this kind of achievement.
Right. On an assessment level, how do you evaluate the government's strategic plan when it comes to that particular field, when you assess it, the difference between now and years before? How have Egypt reached, or how far have Egypt gone?
As I mentioned, actually, Egypt reached now to the best plans, because as I mentioned, the ministry has been added a plan. 2 things: to increase the productions by grab more business by exploration agreement, and in addition to that, to use the current wells, to enhance the productivity for that. So sometimes you have very old wells, they need some sort of completions and work over. So they did for that to enhance the productivity for that. In addition to that, make new developments well. For example, as I mentioned, Badruddin had increased 39 developments well in the productivity. That's why they increased the productions with average 5 to 6,000 barrels per day. This is how it works. So it have 2 strategies from the exploration point of view to development point of view. Not even that, you know, actually it's looking now to the Western Desert. Western Desert actually it's a big bone for the production in Egypt. More than 40% of our production from the petroleum is coming from the Western Desert. That's why, and actually, as you know, we have only 40% out of the area it already has been explored. Still, the 60% of the area is not explored yet. In addition to that, actually, the country or the ministry is planning to go to the Red Sea. The Red Sea actually is a virgin area. So actually, you have a tender already going on, and the result of coming very soon, within 9 months from now. And there's a lot actually international company going to for this bid round, which actually will add more value to our productivity. So there is a plan for the country itself to increase the oil productions, to increase the productivity of the well, which is already old well or even new wells. Not even that, have many plans for petrochemicals, have many plans for refinery. I will talk about later. All this actually it end up to make Egypt put in the right tracks, not actually importing many products, because this will it will actually let Egypt pay a lot of dollars, millions of dollars actually monthly to get this stuff. So the plan of the ministry within 2 years from now to get self-sufficient from the oil, also importing from outside, to cover the 30% of the oil production which is already coming from outside.
I think also if we're talking about the professional plan that was adopted, or talking about the vision, we have seen this by the idea when they are exploring new fields, for example.
Yeah.
If I'm talking about Zohr, they are looking for how many years it will be able to give them, or to produce oil actually. And this is the most important part, not just to find any field. No, we are looking for something that if we are going to exploit and work on it and pay money, so for how long will it be able to supply the country till we find other?
Actually, Zohr, it's like a very, very good story for Egypt. Actually, and this is actually not coming from this, it's coming from the Mr. President itself. You remember, actually, any concession or any agreement, it came like 5 years to start to the end to get the first well to be productive. But by actually, the Mr. President gave decisions to the ENI to start very early, because once actually ENI did some things called seismic survey, they found some potential for the hydrocarbon in Zohr already. That's why we fastened the process for that. In 22 months from start seismics to do the productions, we end up to get the first productions from Zohr. And actually it never happened in anywhere actually. All the world, as I mentioned, from 5 years, because actually there is very, very deep water. We have a water depth actually for more than 1.3 K, which is like 1,300 meters, and actually we are going deep for more than 4 kilo inside the reservoir to get the productions. Very, very intensive plan, and very, very risky, because this is very, very deep water. And actually imagine Zohr, it take like $12 billion, like from start to end as a cost wise. As the rig is very expensive. It's rent $1 million per day dollars. So that's why, and imagine we're reaching now 7.2 BCF per day. Actually, this is regarding to Zohr, not others. We have like Libra, we have Giza, we have North Alex, all this coming north. That's fine, but actually, Zohr nowadays is producing like last week 2.7 BCF. This is very, very big, giant. I can call it giant field for gas production in this case. And actually, Egyptian give a lesson learned from the whole world to achieve this kind of very intensive operations in very short time. And that's why you are getting 7.2 BCF. That's why you get self-sufficient from the gas. And this is save a lot of money for Egypt, which importing the liquefied gas from outside.
How does the world look over to Egypt when it comes to the terms of energy?
Okay. Egypt nowadays, actually, everybody look at it in different way, the different sources, because Egypt gas productions has changed the gas map all over the world. As you know, European actually it's importing the 40% from the gas supply from Russia and even from Qatar, and this is actually not good for them. They started to found another resource for the gas. After actually Egypt reaches this kind of production from the gas, and they start already to do some shipment of the gas to Europe, and there is a plan actually to make one line from Cyprus to Egypt, pipelines, and after that to make liquefations from Egypt and export it to Europe. That actually let everybody in the world, it changes the mind to Egypt. You can imagine now the last East Mediterranean Gas Forum. You have like the Minister of Energy from states coming. Also, you have Italy, you have Europe. All this actually come to Egypt to be beside to support this kind of event and make Egypt as a leader for that. That means everybody changes mind to Egypt. Now, even Israel itself, Israel actually nowadays, it's really, there is some sort of agreement between one of the company in Egypt to export the gas. and to liquefy it and the refining to do some sort of petrochemicals, or they send it outside. That means all the world now start looking for Egypt in different way, start to make a good relationship with them, and actually this is also due to our very good relationship, our stability, our security, our high productions from the gas. That's why actually Egypt, everybody changed, and they can see very easily when the Mr. Presidents go to visit in other events outside. You see how much respectable from all the countries. It's actually, it's give very, very good power to Egypt for future and now.
Sir, you mentioned petrochemicals, and petrochemicals is one of the most important industries affiliated to this sector, actually.
Yeah.
And it has been used in many other industries as well.
Sure.
Let me ask you about the future of petrochemicals and how, just taking a look at petrochemicals in general in Egypt.
Actually, the petrochemical, I can say this like black horse for Egypt for nowadays. You know, actually, the raw materials to do the petrochemicals is the gas. The gas now, as I mentioned, is 7.7 BCF. That's why very high productions. So to make added value for the gas, you have to use it in the petrochemical industry. Well, nowadays, we are actually importing many things from outside, like polyethylene, ethylenes, all this kind of product from outside, and it costs a lot of US dollars from Egypt to get it from outside. The plan actually for the government to build 14 factories, started from 2002 to 2014. Actually nowadays we just make 6 only, but there is a big project coming in. Already the minister has been signed to be in Sokhna. It's called Tahrir Complex. Actually this will be the cost of it like 11.8 billion US dollars. It's very huge. It's like more than 8 factories. It will actually make like trading each year for more than $8 billion for Egypt to be export and import. And there is actually a plan, very intensive plan to that. And we have also some project coming in Alamein from a Chinese cooperation with Egypt Ministry is coming on also. There's a lot of study going on for that. So because actually the petrochemical, if you go to the export, to export as a gas as a raw material, to even it will actually even you go to make petrochemicals as a manufacturer from the gas as a raw materials, it will actually make from 10% added value, and you will save a lot of money from outside. So I think we have a very green futures from petrochemicals coming. I see the ministry doing very good job, and with all our products we have Mobco, we have Asetco, all this kind of new factories coming to add a lot of things like product in Egypt, and we have actually huge export from all over the world. They take a lot of products like ammonia from Mobco and Dometa, and have a lot of actually coming from this source in the futures.
Right. What exact factors does Egypt need so that we can become the next generation's regional energy hub, or do we already possess these factors?
Actually, Egypt, I can say it is nowadays it's becoming like regional energy hub all over the world. And actually this is coming due to so many factors in Egypt. First of all, the highest productions, which reach 7.2 BCF today. We have actually 2 big liquefied gas stations, one in Itko and Dometa, and actually Egypt has only 2 stations, all the East Mediterranean countries. So Israel doesn't have it, Lebanese doesn't have it, Cyprus, Yunnan, all these people doesn't have it, only Egyptian. So so you know the gas is not actually once you produce it, you have to transport it or you have to ship it. You cannot actually reserve it inside. In this case, actually Israel or Lebanon or Cyprus or whatever any country in this place, they have to use these 2 stations to export their gas to outside, because the consumption for them is very low. They produce a lot. That's why we use ITCO, and Egypt will actually benefit a lot of money out of using this one. The cost value for these 2 ITCO and Domat, each one is like $20 million actually as a cost wise, and Egypt actually has a share like 22% out of the shares in this one, in these 2 LNG stations. In addition to that, actually we have many ports. We have like huge ports, several ports in Egypt. Like we have Suez Canal, we have Safaga, we have Port Said, many actually ports. And actually there's a plan from the ministry to expand these places to make it more and more, to expand more. And the most important thing actually is the security. We have very, very secure place. Whenever any country come to invest in Egypt, nowadays actually it's very secure. You take a lot of, no bureaucratic nowadays. You can sign off the factory, you can get a lot of agreement very, very fast. One very important point also, which is actually, for international companies, it's like we have like a payable. The government has to be actually pay for them the shares like $6 billion. Nowadays, actually, this money decreased to 2.9 millions. And that means we don't have any liability for any other international companies for the money-wise. And actually, it will be finished by the quarter for 2020. It will be zero. So this is the most factor. Actually, it helped Egypt to become a region. One very important one, actually, which is actually a very good one, which is actually nowadays we have the regulation gas law. The regulation gas law actually already has been implemented, has been used. This actually a law. It will help the international company to sell their gas, shares gas in Egypt or outside Egypt. In the recent, when you produce gas, you take his shares from the production, he has to give to the government with a specific price. Nowadays, it's not anymore. He has now authority to sell his gas in Egypt or outside Egypt. That means he can get more money. And actually, this law actually is very, very, very good one, which is make everything stability and they grab more international company to Egypt to work in it.
Sir, how do you describe selecting Egypt to be a leader of the Eastern Mediterranean Gas Forum?
Okay, as I mentioned, this is still actually a very historical event, and Egypt, because now it has very, very good relationship and very good productions and very good secure country from all over the world, that has been selected to be the leader in this one. Actually, there's 2 meetings has been done for this EMGF, and recently one happened to select the hierarchy for this one and the building, and Egypt actually it will be the leader for that. And as you know, there is a 7 country has been already added to this one, like Italy, you have Jordan, you have Egypt, Israel, you have Cyprus, you have Iran, and Greece, and actually Egypt, it will be the leader. And the very important point for this one is not necessary to be produced gas to be actually one of the members for that. For example, Jordan doesn't produce any gas, just importing a lot of gas outside. The whole idea is to help these countries to make a reasonable price for the gas, to make them actually profit from the productions, and even help and supply the other country who doesn't have any productivity, such as Jordan or other countries. So to select Egypt in this one, actually this is very, very good event, and it will be remarkable actually achievement for the Mr. Presidents and the Minister of Petroleum to reach this point in this stage.
Talking about Egypt's success and ability to be able to attract foreign investment in that particular field and become also an investment center when it comes to the energy field.
Yes.
How can this be happening in the field of all the success stories that you have just related in the past few minutes?
Yeah, actually this has happened already, and the main factors tell us about that. The big company is called ExxonMobil. ExxonMobil actually is very, very huge money and assets all over the world. It works in more than 60 countries in the world. ExxonMobil actually, it's bigger than Aramco as a money-wise. Nowadays, already success to grab ExxonMobil to Egypt. They already has been taken one concession in the Mediterranean Sea, and they will start drilling maybe after 1 year from now. And you know why? Because actually, as I mentioned, the gas regulations law, the payment for the government has been already decreased to $0.9 billion, and the security-wise, and there is actually a lot of agreements to change the gas price in the agreement, which grab more profits and to the international companies such as ExxonMobil and the other. Not even ExxonMobil actually. We have a Shell coming, we have a Petronas coming. We have actually a Spain company. It will be come very soon. It has been already has a meeting with the ministry very recently, and they will need to come and invest in Egypt. That means huge people coming to and actually make a spot in Egypt for investments, and that's why because we have 200 actually TCF as a gas reserve in the Mediterranean. So we have a very, very big reserve of gas. That's why everybody looking at it. Still have actually nowadays we're already working East Mediterranean. Still we have West Mediterranean is coming very soon. There is already tender going on. After 1 month to be released, is announced who will win. So all this kind of things is already encouraging the people to come and invest in Egypt. We still have Western Desert, stuff like only 40% already has been used. Still 60% from southwest. We have Eastern Desert. We have the Gulf. We have Red Sea. All this actually, if you can see from north, east, west, from Egypt, all the area, it has huge reserve of oil and gas. That's why, and everybody knows because this is very obvious. For example, in the Red Sea, it's a virgin already, but still have in the east side, you have Saudi is already drilling and produce. We have in the south, we have Sudan, it's already produced. That means it is not a virgin to us. It's already a lot of information there. It helps us and it guides us. There is already potential, prove the potential there. It will increase the value for that.
Of course, with this very encouraging note, Dr. Tharwat, thank you so much. You are the head of petroleum engineering and gas and Egyptian Chinese University. Thank you so much.
Thanks, man.
And we're going to go to a short break and come back to resume the breakfast show, so stay with us.